Greetings, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is our Culinary Oil Masterclass Day 1. There we go. Welcome, welcome, welcome to all of you. Hey, Rajania. How you doing? Greetings to you all. Wait for some folks to jump in. So as you come on in, I want you guys to shout out your city. What city do you represent? Hey, you a star too, Rajania. Please shout out your city. I'm representing ATL. I represent ATL. So just drop a little comment on the city that you're representing. So we're live now on YouTube. We're live on Facebook, and we're also live on Instagram. Okay. So actually, let me do this so that I can see any comments that's coming in. Wonderful. All right, I got it all set up. All right, so as you come on in, just shout out your city. I'm representing ATL. What city you representing? What city you representing? Hello, hello, hello. Oh, I see Seedling Place, Nassau, Bahamas. I see someone from Detroit. Oh, snap. Detroit in the house. I haven't been to Detroit in years. So you guys got to give me a reason to go to Detroit. I would love to go to Detroit and hang out. All right. Thank you all for coming on. Tonight we're doing the Culinary Oils Masterclass. This is day 1. And I'm excited. So real quick, I'll tell you a little bit about myself, tell you who I am. Dr. Natasha Bruley. They also call me Chef Beee. I'm a lifestyle medicine health coach, raw plant-based chef educator, and truly, truly, truly passionate about helping people to transition, adopt, whatever you want to call it, to a plant-based lifestyle. And think about it from a seasonal standpoint, right? So how do you eat seasonally so that you can be empowered and you can thrive? So that's who I am. I'm also someone that does seasonal cleanses. And as you'll see this evening, I'm also someone, this is actually one of the things that I started doing. I do essential oil education and oils education. So I teach people about oils. So I see folks coming in on Instagram. I see folks coming in on the other platforms. So welcome, welcome, welcome. I saw some folks say they're in Dominican Republic. What? Okay, DR. Thank you for coming on this live tonight. I appreciate you. I appreciate you tremendously. And I teach oils, and that's actually one of the things that I started teaching. And I really, I've not gotten away from it, but I just felt like I really wanted to really kind of talk more about essential oils because I've been really focusing a lot on my meal prep. And essential oils is absolutely at the cornerstone of some of the things that I do in the kitchen. And I wanted to share that with you because a lot of folks don't know that you can use essential oils in the food space. And so I'll tell you a little bit about how I got started with that. But that's what I do, right? I am all things health coach, health and wellness, and all of that good stuff. And I'm super happy to be here to share this information with you. All right. So one of the reasons why I wanted to do this particular masterclass around essential oils, and I like to say cooking oils or cold press oils, is because I'm seeing a lot of interesting things in the plant-based, vegan, vegetarian space. And honestly, people are really trying to eat healthier. But can I just say, if you are using a lot of processed foods, you're just not, you got to be mindful about that piece. And so I know that there are people who are still frying a bunch of stuff. They're using a ton of oil. And I just wanted to just have a conversation, like if people really know about oil, the oils that you use. Do you know why you're using those oils? So we're going to talk about that in some of the later master classes. But I just wanted to really touch on, I wanted to talk about the essential oils, and then I also wanted to talk about cooking oils. And so we'll talk about cooking oils later on, but I thought that this would be a great opportunity to kind of bring those two conversations into one, because culinary oils or essential oils, when I speak about that, when people think about essential oils, they're really just thinking about it from a very limited perspective. And I can confidently say that, over the last few years, I would say 6-7 years, I'm one of the folks that kind of brought that to light, that you can use essential oils in the culinary space. But it really depends on the kind of essential oil that you're using. Okay. So we're going to talk more about that. All right. We're going to talk more about that. All right. So for those of you who are on, this is interactive because I am a teacher. I'm a teacher. I want to start off by asking a question. All right. I want to ask a question. And this is going to lead us into, well, what are essential oils? So here's the question that I want to ask. When you kind of look around you, when you look around, what is one of the most powerful and potent things that is all around us? It's all around us. It's in its natural state, and then sometimes in an altered state that can support people in their healing. All right, so let me ask the question again. All right. What is one of the most powerful and potent things that is all around us in its natural state, and then also in its altered state, right? That can support people in their healing. Does anyone know? You can drop a comment, and I'm greeting folks as they come in. All right. Joy says air. Okay. Ace Fundamental has their hand up. So just drop a comment what you think the answer is. So you said natural state and altered state that can support people in their healing. Yep. So that's true. Air, good. Light, excellent. All right. Any other thoughts? Is there audio? Can you guys hear me? Can I hear you? Really? You can't hear me? Wow. Okay. Why can't you hear me? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? When that call came in, it bumps me. Yep. Can you hear me now? Can I hear you? Okay, I'm going to jump off and then jump back in. All right. So those folks who are on Instagram, not you guys, I'm going to jump off and jump back in. So stay there. I'm coming back. Let me do this. I don't know how come it does that. All right, so let me just get back in here. All right, let's see. All right, so I'm back on Instagram. I'm so sorry about that, but it looks like when a call comes in, it just bumps the audio, which is crazy. All right, so I hope that those people who just jumped off jump back in. All right, y'all. Those of you who couldn't hear me before, can you hear me now? Let me know, Instagram. Can you all hear me now? Yes, no, maybe so. So my Instagram folks, can you hear me now? All right, good. Thank you so much. Yay. All right, so the big question that we had on the table was, what is one of the most powerful and potent things that is all around us that in its natural state or altered state can support people in their healing? And some of you said air. Some of you said water, right? What is anything else? Those are all good, but that's not the answer I'm looking for. You said food. Okay, cool. Yes, so food. All right. Yes. All right, so the answer that I'm looking for is plants. Okay, the answer that I'm looking for is plants. So plants, while in its natural state and then its altered state, plants can support people in their healing. Okay. And what I will say about that is when you think about like your journey to wellness, really a lot of times people focus on a specific aspect of healing, right? And we all, I think spiritually, we all gravitate to a particular kind of healing. So when you think about mind, body, spirit connection, when you think about that, you know, there is mind medicine. What's an example of mind medicine? Someone tell me, what's the example of mind medicine? What do you think mind medicine could be? So again, people they're drawn to specific types of healing modalities. What's an example of mind medicine? What you think? Someone tell me what you think. What's an example of mind medicine? Yes, excellent, seedling space. Yes, meditation, yoga. Well, yeah, the meditation side, right? Because you're just using the mind. So, yes, meditation is considered to be a healing modality that's mind medicine. That's what I would say. Okay. Prayer is mind medicine, right? Part of it, right? So it could kind of double as both. You said the beach. Yes, that's medicine too. It definitely helps that mind medicine. All right, what about spiritual medicine? What about spiritual medicine? All right. Someone tell me what's an example of spiritual medicine? What do you think? What's an example of spiritual medicine? So we said that mind medicine, an example would be meditation. Yes. Okay. So someone said running. Okay. So that's not spiritual medicine per se. Libation, a comb, chanting. Yes, those are wonderful. Now, Panama, the food man, something that would be considered body medicine would be the running. Okay. Seedling space, something that would be considered the body medicine, I would say would be the fire breaths. Yes, because you're actually doing something with the body, right? And so going back to this idea of plants, that's medicine. And we can use the plants from a body medicine standpoint to help alter our state, to help us support us in our healing work, and to just help create overall wellness. All right. So plants, whether it's in its altered state or its sort of traditional state, its natural state, is a powerful tool that we can use in our healing. Wonderful. All right. So I see seedling space saying visualizing mind medicine. Yes, visualization, mindfulness. So for those of you who are just jumping on to this masterclass, greetings to all of you. Thank you all for joining. This is our Culinary Oil Masterclass Day 1, and we are just getting started. We are talking today about plants and how we can use plants both in its natural state and its altered state to help us with healing. All right. We've just gone through different kinds of medicines, mind medicine, spiritual medicine, and now we're talking about body medicine. And really, body medicine can be some of the things that you do to your body, right? We talked about movement. Someone mentioned yoga earlier. That's a good one. But then also, body medicine is the foods that you eat, right? It's the things that you take into the body too. None of these things that you guys said is wrong. It's all correct, right? And so when we think about some of the things that we could take into the body that's going to really support our healing, we want to make sure that it's elevated and that it's in this as purest natural state as possible. And plants, if we can help it, if we can, get organic, if we could do all of those things, that's wonderful. All right, now, so where do the essential oils come into this? All right, so I want you guys to take a moment, close your eyes, right? Close your eyes. And I want you to think about a field of flowers. Or if you've ever been to an orchard, kind of think about, visualize the orchard. Think about the field of flowers. What are you experiencing in that visualization? All right. What are you visualizing? Right? I want you to use your senses. Like if you were in that space, what would you be doing? Right? What would you be doing in the field? What would you be doing at the orchard? All right? What would you be doing? Well, you probably would be smelling something. You probably would be touching something, right? And so in that, we have these plants that are really powerful in helping us to, I would say you can actually get some of these wonderful properties from the plants, whether it's a flower, whether it's a orange orchard, or if you were growing herbs in your own personal garden and you just had a ton of it. These plants have these amazing properties in it that allows you to be able to smell it. All right. That's allowing you to be able to just sort of taste the goodness in it. Okay. These things, right? These things that are inside of the plant are called aromatic compounds. All right. They're called aromatic compounds. And so if you kind of just think about just even eating an orange or a lemon or a lime or touching a peppermint plant, you just touch it and you just smell your hands, you have all of this amazing smell on your hand. Those are the natural oils that are coming from the plant. All right. Those are those aromatic compounds that I'm telling you about. Okay. And when you touch the plant, when you touch the mint plant or the basil plant or the lemon tree or the orange or whatever it is, right? What happens is you get these oils that are on your hand. These oils that you are touching are protectant agents to the plant. Depending on where the plant is grown, that protecting agent helps to fight off diseases for the plant. It helps to fight off, because of its smell, bugs that are trying to eat the plant, right? Because they're not attracted. Some bugs are not attracted to certain smells. So it helps them to kind of repels them. And then also, depending on where those plants are grown, because sometimes they're grown in very harsh conditions, it just helps to make it super, 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 super strong. And so now when we actually use those plants, the potency of the plant is there because of where it might have been grown, the chemical constituents that we talked about, the aromatic compounds that are inside of them, because it's fighting for its life too, right? It's fighting for survival too. And so when we actually grab those aromatic compounds, those are really, really powerful tools for us for our healing. Okay. And so in many cases, when people are using essential oils, y'all, they're primarily using them in a couple of ways, just a couple of ways. They're using essential oils, for massage. So topically, they're putting it in their hair. You might see a lot of products with essential oils in it, body butters, hair products. If someone is doing some body work on you, they're massaging you with essential oils. So all of those things, that's when people use essential oils. You might also see people use essential oil in prayer. You might also see people use essential oil in prayer. So, depending on the essential oil that they use, they might be using those essential oils to help them to connect deeper with spirit, with source, right? You might also see people using essential oils when they do yoga, helps them to focus in more, or meditation, some of the things that you guys mentioned. So, these are all different ways that essential oils can be used, just every day. But here's one way that many people don't talk about using essential oils. All right. And that way is using essential oils for the culinary. All right. So, yes, you can use essential oils on the body. We call that topically. Yes, you can use essential oils when you're meditating or praying or diffusing in your home to just kind of uplift the energy in the home. That's aromatically. But many people don't talk about using essential oils in the culinary space. And so that's where we want to go tonight. Okay? Does that set it up for you guys? Good evening, Fatima. Good evening. Good evening. So, yes, and I'm going to be quizzing you guys because we got some giveaways tonight. So, I hope you guys are listening real good, because at the end, we're going to be doing some giveaways. And so, we're going to see how well you all been listening. Okay? All right. So when I say culinary oils, I want to be clear. When I say culinary oils, I'm talking about two kinds of oils. I'm talking about essential oils that are used for cooking. And I'm also talking about essential oils that are used, or essential oils for cooking, and then also like everyday oils. Your coconut oil, your vegetable oil, all of those things. To taking those things together, that's what I'm saying, culinary oils. All right. Tonight, we're going to talk specifically about essential oils and, just how we use them, why we use them, and all of those things. All right. So greetings to all of you who are jumping in. Good evening. I see Leah joining. I see Margot Rush, Fatima Spencer. I saw Shay Magic. Hello to all of you. All right, you can drop a comment if you desire. Drop a comment so that we can know what city you are coming from. I would love to know. I'm, of course, representing the ATL, the A. We had some folks from the Dominican Republic join us. We got folks just from everywhere, really. Atlanta, I know Atlanta. I see a bunch of Atlanta folks up in here. Detroit is in the building. I'm loving it. All right, so now what I want to talk about are different kinds of essential oils. All right, that's what I want to talk about next. So when we talk about essential oils in the culinary space, first of all, there are a bunch of us people who are blending essential oils. We're not talking about blended essential oils. We're not doing that. We're going to talk about single oils. That's what we're going to talk about. And really, these oils can be broken down into certain categories. Okay. So one of the categories that the oils can be broken down to is citrus oils. All right. Citrus oil. So now let me say this, full disclosure. When you're using essential oils, you want to use the best quality essential oils that's out there, because now that we're saying that you can use essential oils for not just your skin, but you also need to be mindful about what you're putting on your skin, and meditation and inhaling it. If I'm actually using essential oils to actually ingest, I want to make sure that the quality of the essential oils are top notch. So I use, and I know some of you are as well, I use a particular essential oil that's called doTERRA. That's the brand. And the reason why I've always used this particular essential oil brand is because that particular essential oil brand is one of the most natural, purest, high quality essential oils that they are on the market. There is on the market. Okay. And so, oh, no problem, Ms. Johnson. I see you. No worries. I figured that much. So when you're talking about ingesting now an essential oil or using it for culinary, you do not want to use essential oils that that have fillers, that have synthetics in them. You want that pure essential oil. I cannot stress that enough. If you are using essential oils for culinary, just like you're using your other oils, you want to make sure that those oils are pure. Yes. So Nicole, it's doTERRA, DOTERRA, doTERRA. And there are not very many essential oils that are on the market that you can use that can be used in the culinary space like that. They're just not. All right. They're not pure. Not all of them are pure. They have a lot of synthetics in them. They're adulterated. They're not what they say they are. But this particular essential oil is actually more expensive, but they last a long time, and you can use them in the culinary space. So I just wanted to make sure that I said that. Okay, now, how do we categorize our essential oils for plant-based cooking, right? Our, as we say, culinary oils for cooking. So one of the classifications is citrus oils, all right? And I'm going to actually give you some examples of what that looks like. So citrus oils, okay? So some of the citrus oils that are out there are things like grapefruit. Okay, so you can write this down. So some citrus oils that you can use when you're cooking would be like grapefruit, green mandarin, lemon, lime, tangerine, bergamot, and wild orange. And I'm actually going to, just for some of these, I'm going to share with you, I'm going to give you some of the ways that you can actually use these oils like daily. So you're using it for the culinary space, but then I'm also going to talk to you about setting your intentions when you're actually cooking and making food, when you're praying into your food. and why that's important and how you can be really intentional about the different essential oils that you're using with your foods, okay, because of the seasons we're in. All right, so we have citrus oils, okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about that tonight. We also have savory spice oils and sweet spice oils, okay? Just give me these categories. So savory spice oils and sweet spice oils, okay? So that's another category. So we have citrus, we have savory and sweet spice oils. We also have herbaceous oils. Does anyone know what I mean when I say herbaceous? What does herbaceous mean? Anybody know? When we say herbaceous, what does that mean? Take a crack at it. Herbaceous. What does herbaceous mean? Anybody? If you're not used to the word, it sounds a little weird. Yes, thank you, Fatima. So herbs, right? So herbaceous are essential oils that are full with herbs. So some examples of herbaceous oils are basil. So write that down. Marjoram, oregano, rosemary, good. Cilantro, dill. Okay, so you're writing some of those down. Beautiful. Those are some of our herbaceous oils. Okay, so we said basil, marjoram, oregano, rosemary, cilantro, and dill. Those are some examples of herbaceous oils. All right, now, those herbaceous oils are very strong. Those herbaceous oils are very, very strong. Okay, we also have floral herbaceous oils. So one really, really popular floral herbaceous oil that people use in the culinary space is lavender. Lavender is the bomb, y'all. It's the bomb. You can use that for like making smoothies, like chocolate shakes. You can use that for making like beautiful seasonings, all of that. Another one that's really dope in the kitchen is something called Melissa. Melissa. All right. Melissa is a flower, and you can also use this in the culinary space. You can ingest it. Okay. So we got our floral herbaceous oils. We have our leafy herbaceous oils. We have our citrus. We have our spicy, right? Those are our oils. Those are the oils. So we want to talk a little bit more about the citrus essential oils, and then we'll talk a little bit more about the herbaceous oils tonight, and then we'll leave some of the other ones for the next time we meet, which is tomorrow night. All right, so citrus essential oils. So I want to now talk about how essential oils come to be. How do we make essential oils? Okay, so essential oils typically, essential oils are created. We make them using various types of processes. Okay, so one very, very common process for making essential oils is something called steam distillation. That's one very popular way that essential oils are made. It's steam distillation. So what they do is they take, like, whether it's the leaf, the stem, the bark, one of these parts of the plant, right? Or even the resin, or like the resin comes from the tree. And what they do is they send it through a device. They heat it up with steam. They add the different, we're talking about huge vats of this. They add the plant. And through this steaming process, the water separates the oil. And then the oil is spouted out separately from the water that comes out of the plant. All right. And so then you have this essential oil that's very, very concentrated, very, very pure. Okay. So that's one. You also have cold pressing. So typically when we're talking about the herbaceous oils, because those are usually like the leaves. If you think about like peppermint, basil, some of the ones that you've all mentioned, When you steam distill it, you can get the oil out. But when you think about things like citrus oils, right? When you squeeze a lemon or an orange or any of those citrus fruits that I just mentioned, what happens? What happens when you squeeze it? What happens to your hands? Tell me what happens to your hands. When you squeeze a lemon or a lime or orange, what happens? What happens? What do you get on your hands? Anybody? What happens to your hands when you squeeze a lemon or orange or any of those fruits? What happens to your hands? Anybody know? Yes, that's right. You release the oils. Absolutely. So it even happens when you're eating an orange now. You kind of just rip the orange open and then you look, you have a sheen on your hand. You can smell your hand. You're like, oh my gosh, the oil comes from the rind. So that is how they actually get the essential oil from, like things like your citrus fruits. It's squeezed out from the skin and we call that cold pressing, and all of the essential oils come from the rind. Okay. Now, when you actually get into some, like if you have a floral essential oil, the steam distillation process is way it's too evasive for that plant. So they have to do it in a more gentler way. And actually, when you're dealing with like flowers like rose, the melissa that I mentioned earlier, those are not essential oils. Those are actually called absolutes, okay? Because of the process and how they're created. They're not essential oils. The technical name for them is called absolutes, okay? But you can still use them. They're super pure. Depending on the ones that you get, you still can actually, use them in the culinary space, all right? All right, so citrus oils are cold pressed. Herbaceous oils, for the most part, are steam distilled. Okay, they're steam distilled. All right, now what I want to do is I want to talk about different herbaceous oils that you might want to consider using now. That's what I want to focus on now. So here's the deal. If you know anything about me, you know that I do cleanses and I talk about seasonal eating a lot, right? So we have the Essential Meals to Go meal prep program. And I love this work that I do around meal prep because it's really an opportunity to support people and really kind of give a gift from my heart. I love cooking, y'all. I've been cooking since I was like 10, 11 years old. Guyanese mother, Brooklyn, my mom, I've just been cooking forever. And I just always remember being that person, right? Cooking. And so I'm saying all this to say, one of the things that I'm grateful for now is having the awareness because of my farmer friends about eating in season and how important that process is. So in the same way that eating seasonally can support you in your healing, because the foods that are available right now, those foods have medicinal properties that are so important for you right now. It's getting cold outside. Now we have more of the squashes available, a lot of the greens available. It's giving us iron because you're going to probably be in more, right? You're getting beta carotene from the pumpkins and the carrots and those foods, the butternut squashes, right? Because you're indoors a lot. So really, if you think about, how life is for you and where you're living, the foods that are available to you are purposefully, intentionally available for you during those times because from a seasonal standpoint, that's when they're grown, that's when they're harvested, that's when they're their best. And so now I'm going to take that a step further. What I'm going to recommend to all of you is to use your essential oils in that same light. So if you're cooking with essential oils, what I want you to do is I want you to consider using essential oils in season 2. All right. I want you to do that in season 2. All right. And when I say in season 2, not like it's a show, but in season also. I want you to think about using essential oils that are really good for this time of year. Okay. So let's get back to the herbaceous oils, and then I'm going to talk to you about how you would use herbaceous oils in the kitchen. All right. We'll kind of just talk about that in general. All right. So for this season right now, because we are in the fall, right? We're soon going to be in the winter solstice, but right now we are still in the fall equinox. And for this season, the herbs, the herbaceous oils and herbs that are available right now are things like basil, dill, marjoram, mint, oregano, peppermint, rosemary, thyme, and cilantro. So those are herbs that are good for right now. So we're coming off of the summer into the fall. So you have some of these summer herbs that are still kind of there. They're still here, right? We're in November. So what I want you to do is I want you to think about how you can use these oils, how you can use these herbs in what you do, in what you make. All right. Because in the same way that we need to be intentional about what we're growing, cooking, and making it in season, we also want to be intentional about if we're using any kind of essential oil in our culinary, we want to make sure that we're using those as well. One I didn't mention was peppermint. I don't remember mentioning peppermint, but these are some good ones to use. Okay. Now, in general, right? One of the things that I want to say is that when you're dealing with these essential oils, there is a purpose behind these essential oils. There's a purpose. These essential oils are connected to our emotions too. And so as you're preparing your food, because everything's about intention, right? As you're preparing your food, you also want to, if you're using some of these essential oils, you want to help to evoke certain emotions in the food that you're consuming. Because again, your food is medicine as well. So let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. So thyme. Thyme is a herb that I use a lot in my cooking. We've grown up in the Caribbean, Guyana, Brooklyn, using thyme, fresh thyme. And then when I actually use thyme essential oil is the bomb. Like it's super, super strong. We're going to talk about how to use those oils in cooking. But the significance of thyme essential oil is that it's used for releasing and forgiving. Okay, it's used for releasing and forgiving. So one of the things I would like for you all to consider is that if that's something that you're working on, if you're working on releasing and forgiving, then you might want to include thyme essential oil as well as thyme the herb into the foods that you're eating, because that's something that will help you with releasing and forgiving. Okay. Another example, no, these are herbaceous oils. Another example of what I'm saying is the use of, let's say, grapefruit or orange, lime, or lemon. One of the most common ways that people use culinary oils, like these essential oils we're talking about, is in their water. And so, I know many people have a difficult time drinking water because sometimes it's plain, it just doesn't taste good. And so one of the things that you can do is you can add a couple of drops of the essential oil to your water or to your beverage just to spruce up the flavor of it. Okay. So you can do that with essential oils like grapefruit, lemon, lime, orange. There are more, but these are just a couple, right? And so let me tell you again, just the meaning of these oils. So grapefruit is good for, if you're thinking about just really connecting to the body and really showing respect for the body. When you add that grapefruit to your water, it's really about honoring the body. So if that's something that you're working towards, you might want to use grapefruit in your beverages, right? As you're creating something for you to consume, a beverage for you to consume, just add a couple of drops of the grapefruit to your water, and it will help you with that. Lemon. Lemon is an essential oil that's really, really good for focusing, all right, and cleansing. So they call this the oil of focus. So if you are focusing on, like if we're doing a seasonal cleanse and you're focusing on the healing work of that cleanse, you don't want to just drink your water plain, right? You're being intentional. You want to add the essential oil, the lemon essential oil to your water to help you with your focus. Okay. Another example is orange. Orange is considered to be the oil of abundance. And so some of us do have limiting beliefs about themselves. They have limiting beliefs about what they are manifesting, what they're trying to create. People are just in their head. And so orange essential oil actually helps you with moving those limiting beliefs aside and really stepping into abundance. And so once again, if that's something that you are working on, then you want to make sure that you're not just, putting the oils, in your massage. Those things are awesome. But I'm also suggesting that you want to make sure that you bring them into the kitchen with you and bring it into the foods that you're eating. Okay, does that make sense? All right, so those are some essential oils that you can use right now. Those are some of the citrus essential oils that you can use right now. Those are fall fruits, fall herbs. We just talked about grapefruit, lemon, lime, and orange. Those are all fall fruits that you can begin using right now. We also talked about the herbaceous essential oils. We talked about some of them, and you can be using those right now. Okay. Now, any questions? Does anyone have any questions? All right. No questions? No questions? We good so far? Okay. So here's something else that I wanted to talk about. I also wanted to talk about just some tips. And when you're creating essential oils like these herbaceous oils, y'all, you got to be careful. All right. So what I want to say about essential oils in general is that they're really, really strong. Right. So no matter if they're sweet oils, citrus, spicy, whatever, they're very, very potent. And with them being very potent, what you really want to do is you want to be mindful about that and not overdo it. Just because it's in a little bottle, don't think that it's, oh, this isn't intimidating. This is the bomb. I could just use a lot of it. You got to be careful. We want to be safe when we're using essential oils. So safety matters. Okay, what do I mean by that? When you're dealing with herbaceous oils, a really strong oil could be what? So I want you to think about herbs. What is an essential oil that is really, really like just strong that you've tried before? Anybody want to share? What is an essential oil that you've tried that's really, really strong? You're like, oh my gosh. Or just herb in general that you've tried, that you cooked with. What's an essential oil or herb that you've tried that's really, really strong? One of the herbaceous oils. Anybody got an idea? Oh, good. That's a good one. Peppermint. Oh, yes. Anybody else? Peppermint is a good one. Anybody else? What's another herby oil that's really strong? Oh, yes, Miss Nicole. Cinnamon. Yes. One more. Anybody else? What's another one? The strongest of them all. Actually, there are two that like are super duper strong. All right. Anybody know? I'm gonna give you a hint. Ooh, eucalyptus, man, you look. That's a good one too. They're all good. Those are all good. Rosemary. Rosemary's a little gentle. All right, I'm gonna give y'all a hint. This is one of the strongest of them all. Starts with a O. Anybody know? What is an herby essential oil that is super duper duper strong? Oh, I see it over here. All right, so I got someone over here, Facebook, YouTube. They say oregano. Yes, oregano. Strong. That and thyme. All right, that and thyme. All right, so these essential oils are very, very potent. And with potency requires safety. All right, let's just be clear. With potency requires safety. So one of the ways that you can use these oils in the culinary space is by diluting them. Okay, let me be clear about that. So when you are bringing your essential oils into the food that you're eating, right, you want to dilute these oils and not overdo it. Literally 1 drop or less is all that you need. Because if you overdo it, you're going to destroy your dish. All right. So let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. The oil of oregano, many people are familiar with the power of the oil of oregano. All right. So many people don't necessarily use oil of oregano in some of the ways we've talked about. They don't necessarily just rub it on their skin because it'll burn you. All right. It'll burn, even if you dilute it. All right. Even if you dilute it. Now, what some people might do is they might diffuse the oil of oregano. But when we now talk about using the oil of oregano in the culinary space, one of the things that you might want to consider doing, not even use 1 drop, what people tend to do is they dip a toothpick into the bottle and then they stir the oil of oregano into their sauce. And that's a way that you can dilute. That's a way that you can dilute your sauce by using just a little toothpick, sticking it inside of the bottle. So let me show you. So we have this one right here. This is rosemary. Rosemary is a little potent too. All right. Cilantro is another one that's a little potent too. Right. And what we do is you take a toothpick, you dip it in the bottle. You would take this off, dip it in the bottle, and then you would just stir it into your sauce. Okay. Now, dilution can come from a lot of different ways. Through a sauce, if you're making like a seasoning, you can add 1 or 2 drops of the essential oil to the salt or the sugar. I'm going to actually show you how to do this tomorrow. Okay. And what that allows you to do is that gives you a beautiful essential oil infused flavor in that salt or that sugar or that sauce. But it is key that you guys dilute. You got to do that or you will hurt yourself. One, you'll destroy your culinary creation. But if you don't do it properly, you'll get like a bitter taste, or it just might be too strong and it might burn your mouth. Something like a thyme or oregano will definitely burn the mouth. Okay, so we want to always make sure that we're diluting. All right. All right. I see Jonathan. Jonathan, the medium, has joined us. Greetings. Yes. I see Plant Powered Renee. Yes, yes, yes. Angela McKnight, Q Simpson. Thank you so much for joining our live tonight, our masterclass. We are talking about culinary oils and we're talking about herby oils, the herbaceous oils. All right. So quickly, just a quick review. Someone give me some examples of some citrus oils that we've talked about. Anybody? What are some examples of citrus oils that we've talked about? Just give me 2. What are 2 citrus oils that we've talked about? Come on, beautifuls. What are 2 citrus oils that we've talked about thus far? Anybody? All right, grapefruit. That's one. Somebody give me one more. What's another one? All right, orange, lemon, and lime. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. All right, so those are the big 4, right? There are more, but those are the big 4. All right. Yes, excellent. All right, now let me talk a little bit about those oils. So when we're using citrus oils, I just want to talk a little bit about how powerful these citrus oils are. So I want you all to be mindful, even though we're focusing on the culinary space, when you're using citrus oils, you have to be very careful. And the reason why is because some of these citrus oils can have phototoxicity. All right. There's a photosensitivity that the essential oils have that are citrus oils. And so if you're using the oils on your skin, if you're using it in like a body butter, I just want to make sure I say that to you. You want to make sure that if you're putting it inside of a body butter, you don't want to go out and expose yourself in the sunlight right away, because you could blister, you could hurt yourself. All right. I really want to say that. What I found though is that when I'm using citrus oils in the culinary space, unlike the thyme and the oregano that we just talked about, citrus oils allows me to actually use more. So if I'm talking about diluting, that's still important. But what we can do is we can add 3 to 4 drops or 3 to 5 drops in one of our beverages. And it really doesn't hurt us. It's going to add like even more beautiful citrusy flavor. And it's just going to be absolutely incredible. All right. And so with the herbaceous spicy oils, you want to just be mindful. Remember what we said, no more than 1 drop, sometimes like maybe a toothpick full. But what I found is that citrus oils, we have a lot more room to dilute. All right. We can add more drops and it really doesn't impact us negatively, and it doesn't impact the food negatively. It actually enhances the flavor. Okay. Now, let me say something about how I use these oils when I'm actually in the kitchen. Again, I'm going to give you some examples of this tomorrow. All right. We're just kind of laying the foundation today. So, one of the things that I want to say is that, like, when I'm using, citrus oils or the herbaceous oils or any of those things, what I like to do is, I like to use it towards the end of the cooking process. All right. So let me say this. When you're talking about essential oils, they evaporate really quickly. We mentioned earlier that they're considered to be aromatic compound. One of the things that I didn't say is that they're volatile. So as soon as I open up this bottle like this, the fact that I can smell this, and actually y'all mentioned rosemary. This is my rosemary. When I open up this bottle and I can smell this essential oil, basically the aromatic compounds are trying to escape. So it's really important to keep this covered, right? But because of that, if I add this essential oil to heat, then it's going to evaporate. And that flavor that I'm looking for, that powerful flavor that I'm looking for, is going to be minimized because we added heat to the oil. So typically what's going to be good for you if you're using these is, what you want to do is you want to wait till the cooking process is completed, and then you add your essential oil at the end when the food is cooling down. All right. And then what you'll find is that you can really, 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 really taste the flavor of the foods. Okay. The other thing that I like to do when I'm cooking with essential oils is I actually like to use 2 things. I like to use the actual herb itself. So for example, if I'm making a sauce, I'm going to use fresh cilantro, and then I'm also going to use the cilantro essential oil. You don't have to do that, but what I found is that when we do that, what happens is it just gives the flavor of whatever it is that we're making, that sauce, just in this whole next level amazingness. And so that's one of the things that you can do. You can actually bring those 2 things together. And when you bring those 2 things together, it just lends itself to just this absolutely incredible flavor in your mouth, because you're experiencing your food on a lot of different levels. So you can either use the essential oil by itself to save loot, save money, or you can enhance the flavor naturally by using the herb, the citrus, and then adding the essential oil if you desire. Okay. So I want to say that too. All right. How we doing, y'all? Everybody cool? All right. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to share with you guys just a couple more. I just wanted to share with you a couple more herbaceous oils. All right. We mentioned some of them, but I wanted to give you guys a couple more herbaceous oils. All right. So again, for right now, for this season, these are some of the things that you want to be thinking about using, right? So bay leaf is another one. So actually what we'll do is just go back over the list. So basil was one essential oil or herb that you might want to consider using. This is also considered to be the oil of renewal. So I think I mentioned to you all that each essential oil is connected to some emotional thing that you could be working on during this season, right? And so with that, basil is the oil of renewal. Then we have dill. Some of these I don't have what the emotional connection is to it, and then some that I do. Marjoram is the oil of connection. Mint is the oil of confident speech. So, for people who have a difficult time speaking their truth, you want to drink a lot of mint tea. You can add some spearmint to your mint tea, and this actually helps you with really speaking up and working on your throat chakra. So this is confident speech. Oregano, we mentioned oregano before. This is the essential oil that's going to help you with humility and then also non-attachment. So if you're working to just really get humble and just really be mindful about, the things that you just like, I think if you're kind of overdoing it, you're just kind of out there, you want to use oregano because it really just helps to humble you. That's the whole point of oregano. There's parsley. Parsley is another good one for this time of year. There's peppermint. Peppermint is actually good for just heart work. So if you're working on, just having like a deep heart, a loving heart, they call it a buoyant heart, you want to bring peppermint into what you do. Rosemary. Rosemary is a really good one. You actually hear people talk about rosemary in their hair, but I'm also suggesting that you actually cook with rosemary, use the rosemary essential oil. This is actually really good for knowledge and transition. All right. There's also tarragon. We mentioned time, releasing and forgiving. And then we also mentioned cilantro, which is good for releasing and control. Okay. All right. We said grapefruit, lemon, lime, and orange. Grapefruit is good for honoring the body. We said that lemon is good for focus. We said lime is zest for life. And then we said oranges are good for abundance. Okay. So, I just want to say, because we have our cleanse coming up. This year has been really challenging for a lot of people, right? People we have to go back to school, many people. We had a lot of folks who we've lost to COVID. We've also just had a lot of transition. And so one of the things that I really want to encourage you all to do is to, and I don't want to sound cliche, but I really want you all to eat with a purpose, right? Like really truly eat with a purpose, because as we said earlier, some of us are gravitated to different kinds of medicine. Some of us are gravitated to the mind medicine. Some of us are, gravitating towards the spirit medicine. We'll get down on our knees, we'll meditate, we'll pray, we'll do those things. But many of us struggle with the body medicine. We just struggle with that. Many of us are struggling with the foods that we're eating. Many of us are struggling with the body movement, activity. We're just struggling with that, right? And I would argue, all of it is important. Not one, not the other, but the connection to all of it is important. And so really these oils, we're talking about this, these oils, and just understanding what you're doing when you're taking care of yourself matters. It matters. So, I'm giving you guys some of the emotional pieces to these essential oils and herbs because I know that all of us are dealing with something, something. Some of us are dealing with, being shy. Some of us are dealing with lack of confidence. Some of us are dealing with loss, something. And I really want you to know that these oils, not just the oils, but the foods, all of it, right, in its natural state and its altered state, are tools for you. And if you get a mindfulness, if you develop the mindfulness of eating foods, one with intention and in season, it's gonna support you tremendously, tremendously. So you just got to take a step, right? You got to take a step. One of the steps is, okay, we actually give you guys a seasonal list every month, right? One of the steps that you can take is by choosing an item on that list that you might have not seen before, going and exploring at the farmer's market or the grocery store and trying that item, trying to do something with those items. What I've started doing is doing little short videos with seasonal foods, and I'm adding the essential oils now too, so that you guys can see how to use not only the seasonal food, but then also an essential oil that is connected that makes that food taste really, really good. So I really want to just, hone in on that, the intention in eating, the intention in using any of these things. There is a saying, someone once told me that food tells your cells what to become, right? And I tell people that all the time now. Food tells your cells what to become. And so if, in fact, rosemary is good for knowledge, lemon is good for focus, lime is good for, zest for life, if we are telling ourselves what to become as we not only eat these foods, but then also use these essential oils, I mean, it only can just bring us an abundance of beauty in our lives, right? And healing in our lives. But you got to believe that. You got to believe that that's what your food is doing for you. You got to believe that that's the process of what's going on in your body when you actually consume these things. You got to believe that. If you don't believe that, then it won't happen. All right. And it's absolutely critical that you believe the process of whatever healing journey you're on. You got to believe it. And so the other thing that I would say is if you are focused on your mind medicine or your spiritual medicine or even your body medicine, I want you to consider bringing in something a little bit different into your healing process so that you're not just doing one thing. You want to make sure that you're doing the things because we need to, my doctor always tells me we need to do an audit of all the things that we're doing. All right. All the things. It's not just one thing that's going to support our healing, it's all the things and doing all the things consistently. And I know that takes time. So that's what I'm saying. Just choose one thing. Choose one vegetable that you're going to try. Choose one oil that you can try. Just one thing. That's all you need to do. All right. So, any questions? Any questions? I'm greeting folks who are still coming in. Any questions? I'm going to look to see if you guys have any questions. So, I wanted to, again, just show you some of what these oils look like. And you guys can show me your questions, tell me your questions if you have any. So we have cilantro. That's your cilantro. A herby oil. This is rosemary. This is another herbaceous oil. Okay. We have peppermint. This one's so good. Peppermint is really good for making those shakes that we were talking about, making desserts. It's also good in your tea. Right? It's also good when you're baking. All right. And, for those of you who might be interested in bringing essential oils in when you're baking, what you can do is, again, you want to wait till the end. Or what you can do is just kind of swirl it into the batter and then bake it. Here's another essential oil. This is called star anise. It's a spicy oil. Some of you mentioned cinnamon. There's another one. And then there goes that grapefruit. So this is the honoring the body oil. Okay. And then I'll show you one last one. This essential oil is super dope for the mouth. All right, clove. And it's really wonderful if you're doing cakes and cookies and things of that nature. Really, really nice. I'll show you one more. I love this one, wild orange. Okay, so what would you recommend for starters? Excellent question. All right, so one of the essential oils that I recommend to start is lemon. This is an excellent one. It's not expensive. It's about 13 bucks. This bottle has about 225 drops, and I like to use lemon for my water. So, it just makes the water taste really, really nice, and it helps to cleanse the inside of your body. That's a really great one to start. Another great one to start, so that's a citrus oil. Another good one is wild orange. Do I have that one? Let me see if I have that one here. I don't think I have that one with me. But wild orange is a really, really good one. And then for the herbaceous oils, I would say peppermint. Peppermint's a good one to start. Okay, I'll give you my list of oils to start tomorrow because there are quite a few that I really like. All right. But I'll just give you one herbaceous oil and one citrus oil tonight. But I'll give you more of my recommendations tomorrow. All right, there's a question here. Were you ever concerned that essential oils should not be consumed? Good question. So, you know what? When I started this journey with the essential oils, Ma Christopher, that's who's asking this question. For me, I found out that these things were absolutely pure. And then I actually started experimenting with this oil right here, lemon. Okay, lemon. That was the first oil that I started experimenting with. And what I started doing, I was introduced to these oils when I was pregnant with my last child. So it's been about 7 years now, right? And I would basically just offer water when people came to the house to visit because, we had this new baby. I was like, would you like something to drink? And they said, yeah, let me get something to drink. And I would add one drop of the lemon to their water. And they were like, ooh, what's that? And it got people excited. And I was like, okay, there's something here. And so as I started doing more research, I realized I'm like, wait a minute, I do raw food preparation. Since I do raw food preparation, why not, consider using these essential oils in my food preparation, right? Because it just made sense. It just made sense. And so, I saw just one or two people talking about it, but I didn't see many of our folks talking about it. And I said, you know what? This is something that people need to know about. And the reason why I thought that is because I know that it's very easy for a bottle of essential oil to sit on someone's shelf for like 2 years. And I'm like, you need to use these oils so that you can get the therapeutic benefits of the oils. Why not use this in cooking? Because then you're actually using it more frequently. And so that's really what was one of the motivations in talking about this with other folks. Because I'm like, no one's talking about this, but this is a wonderful way for you to really heal and do your healing work with your food using your essential oils. All right. Oh, Lakeisha says herbaceous. I like that word. I love that word too, Lakeisha. I love that. All right. So, guess what, guys? We are right at time. It's giveaway time. All right, so we got some giveaways. I got 2 giveaways. Tonight, we talked about 2 kinds of oils. And I asked you all to take some good notes because we are going to do some giveaways. All right. So here's the first giveaway. I'm actually giving away a bottle of, where is it? Cilantro essential oil. I'm giving away a bottle of cilantro essential oil. You get this bottle. Okay. So you got to be real precise. I mentioned 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 herbaceous oils. I mentioned 6 herbaceous oils. When we first introduced this, we talked about 6 herbaceous oils. What were the 6 herbaceous oils that I mentioned and that I talked about? What were the 6 herbaceous oils that I talked about for a bottle of cilantro essential oil? Give me the 6 herbaceous oils that we talked about. Anybody? Come on. Get your essential oil. Now, as you're thinking about this, cilantro essential oil, this one is actually really good for detoxification. It actually helps to pull heavy metal out of the body, out of the blood. And then just from an emotional standpoint, this particular essential oil is the oil of releasing control. All right. So what you got? What are the 6 essential oils that are herbaceous that we talked about? Nobody knows. Oh, come on. Oh, McGee Palmer, basil, rosemary, oregano, cilantro, thyme, marjoram, and parsley. All right, let's see. Angela said oregano, rosemary, basil, marjoram, dill, and cilantro. Actually, Angela is correct because we talked about those specific ones. Yes. So Angela McKnight won her bottle of cilantro essential oil. So we talked about oregano, rosemary, basil, marjoram, dill, and cilantro as the first 6 essential oils. We talked about more, but those were the first 6 that we talked about. Yes, 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 yes. All right. Second one, you will get a bottle. This is the next giveaway. You will get a bottle of citrus essential oils. You will get a bottle of citrus essential oils. What I want you to do, I'm going to do, this one's a little bit challenging. All right. So what I want you to do is I want you to name 4 citrus essential oils that we have talked about. And if you remember, what emotionally are they connected to? Let's see. All right, so we talked about 4 citrus essential oils. What are the emotional connections for those oils? All right, give you guys some time to think. 4 citrus essential oils. What are they? And then what are the emotional connections to those oils? Anybody? All right, Mel Christopher, I see you said smells beautiful. Yes. Loves marjoram. All right. What you got, guys? What are the 4 citrus essential oils that we talked about? And what were the connections to the emotions that we talked about for those specific essential oils? Anybody? Let's go. All right. So Ms. McGee Palmer, lemon, focus, orange, abundance, lime, zest for life, grapefruit, body harmony. Girl, that's what I'm talking about. Miss McGee Palmer wins. Woo! Miss McGee Palmer, you win. You were listening. OMG. All right. So you get the bottle of lemon. You get the, there it is. You get the bottle of lemon essential oil. That is for you. Excellent, excellent. So please make sure, Miss McGee, please make sure that you drop your address and all that good stuff inside of the, like just DM it to me so that I can get it. All right. All right, y'all. So this is the conclusion of day 1. What we're going to do on tomorrow night is we're going to get into some of the spice oils. We're going to get into that. And I'm actually going to demonstrate to you how to make some of these things I've been talking about tonight. So we'll have a little demo in this masterclass just so that you can see how we can bring some of these things together. Okay. So I am so grateful to all of you for showing up and showing out. Thank you for the engagement. I want to remind you all, and I'll keep reminding you for the next few days, that we have the palette reset coming up. The palette reset starts on December 20th to the 29th. And then we also have another palette reset January 10th to the 19th. This time around, what we're doing with the palette reset, we're expanding. I'm talking to folks and I'm realizing that people do not want to cook. Y'all, they don't want to cook. But there's some of you that don't mind cooking, right? So what we are now doing with the palette reset, if you are local, if you live in Atlanta area only, so this is not for the people who are outside of Atlanta. For anybody who's outside of Atlanta, we can do the palette reset, the 10-day guided piece where that's virtual. All of that's virtual. But the new component to this palette reset is that my team and I now make some of the food for you for the 10 days. So I have some clients that just literally, based on the kind of work that they do not have time to prep food in the kitchen, but they need a cleanse, they need to reset, they need to do all those things. So they're like, can you do this for me? And I'm like, I can do it. Let's go. Let's do it. So now you have two options. You can palette reset with me. You can do it virtually. It's an exciting, beautiful cleanse. 10 days, plant-based foods. You get an ebook. You learn how to make these foods. You get all your herbs. You get your coconut oil for your oil pulling. You get your tongue scraper. You get all of these wonderful wellness tools. Or you get those, and then we also make the food for you. So you decide how you want to jump in. We have 2 dates, December 20th to the 29th, and then January 10th to the 19th. And then through that, we're also going to be talking about how to use those essential oils during this time. We're getting ready for the winter solstice. We actually time these cleanses right when the season changes so that we can really get ready, setting our intentions for what we want to create in the new season. So we're really trying to be intentional about that process, okay? And so if you want community, if you want to do something for yourself as the new year is approaching, it's fast approaching, try our palette reset. If you look at the ticker that's going across the screen for those people who are on YouTube and Facebook, you just go to thepalettreset.com, thepalettreset.com, all right? And we will be back tomorrow night. We will continue our dialogue with you on these essential oils and actually show you some things that you guys can be creating for yourself in the kitchen. So you all, thank you so much for your engagement. Kisses and hugs. Have an amazing night. See you tomorrow night. Peace.